Hey friends. Okay, so I'm recording our What in the World Wednesday episode on Wednesday. It's late, but that's fine. So this will be up on Thursday, but still, same premise. And I'm hoping none of my family busts in the room while I record. We shall see. Wish me luck. I guess you'll find out while I'm recording. So, anyways, today there are two similar topics that I want to talk about. One that I've touched on a bit before, but I want to expand on because I think it's really important and it's getting like even more so important to talk about. Unfortunately, fortunately, I don't, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm going to talk about it. And the other topic, similar, but it's one that a good friend of mine suggested. And we had a bit of a discussion around, and she wanted me to talk about it on the podcast. So obviously, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. So those are the two that I haven't told you what they are, but there's two I'm going to talk about today, and they relate to each other. So the first one, and I have said this before on a couple of episodes. I think on the guest episode when I was recording with Courtney, we talked about this a little bit, and I've said it on like maybe a couple others that I've had by myself. But I'm at the point where I am like starting to question the people and business owners who have based their business around like apparently being for women empowerment. Their business has always been like about like women empowerment, da 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 da, all of that kind of thing. And yet they have been beyond silent about what's happening in the world. I honestly, like at this point, I don't get it. I actually don't at this point. And it's not this thing where you have to make it your whole platform by any means, which is like kind of the second topic. We'll talk about that in a sec. But I find it really weird that there is like nothing. It's like radio silence about this. And it's just like going on with their days. Like nothing is happening at all. Like nothing has changed. And it's not like this has to impact every single second of your day and you have to like talk about it all the time and everything has to be different. Like that's not what I'm saying at all. But if your business was like the thing was like women empowerment and like that's been, the big thing that you've always been into and kind of like marketed your business around and you're saying nothing. I find that so fucking weird. And I know that it's not just me because I've had multiple conversations with people about this. I know that it's not just me. Like it's weird. I don't I don't understand how like nothing, not even just a little bit of something. And I've said this before. And this is just getting more and more solidified. I would not work with someone at this point that didn't make it clear what their political leanings are because, like, it's more than politics. This has gone so far beyond politics, like, so far beyond. Even if we take it away from looking at women's rights for a second, like, I'm in Canada, right? And thinking about the potential impacts that are coming from the economic impacts of the tariffs and all of that. And yes, it was that dumbass that did put them on our country first. So let's just get that clear. But the fact that it very well may not stop at just a trade war, that's like, hmm, I beyond like at this, it's just not. this has gone beyond anything. I sure as fuck am not supporting anyone that's behind any of that that's happening. I'm not. It's not okay. Like, think what you want, but there are a lot of intelligent people that are talking about the potential of like real combat war, depending on how far this like tariff shit goes, and basically how much more pressure needs to be put on Canada for the US to get what they want. Like, that is so incredibly unsettling and like fucking not okay. It's really not okay. And it's interesting because I've also seen a lot of people who, who have said, oh, well, you shouldn't be like living in Canada. Like, you shouldn't be mad. Like, it's not really impacting you. Oh my fucking God. Like, are you joking right now? Like, I can't with this. I can't. It's not, no. And now, again, I don't think anyone needs to make this their entire platform. This is why I like have really tried to keep this to talking about it on Wednesdays because I could fucking rant about this every goddamn day. Really could. But gonna keep it to Wednesdays so that we keep her contained and like locked in a little bit. And there is something to be said about like just getting angry about it and the fact that like that doesn't help anything if you aren't also taking any real action. But also, do not, do not let anyone gaslight you into thinking that you can't say anything or you can't be mad. I have seen this as well. And like there's more of this coming up, and it's kind of the same thing as what I talked about last week. There's more of this coming up. And it's like, are you sure you should be talking about this? Like you're just, shouting online. You're just blah, 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 blah. Stop talking about it so much. You know what? There's like really bad shit going on. Stop fucking gaslighting people. Thank you. Okay. So, like, that's not okay either. And we do still have to bring awareness to what's happening and, like, not bury our heads in the sand about the reality that's going on right now. And I'm sorry, but if you're totally unaffected by this, I don't know. This is like, I don't know if I even, whatever. The level of privilege that you have to have if you are not affected by anything going on is just like beyond what I can comprehend. It's I don't know. It is so wild and I don't even know what the right word is for it exactly, but saying you can't be mad, that's so inappropriate and it's just so fucked up. And I know like there are other people that have seen these posts. So if you are one of these people and that pissed you off, just know that's gaslighting. It's not okay. And scroll past it next time. Just ignore that. Ignore it. Sometimes, even though it's like really, it's really fucking hard, and I want to leave comments on things sometimes, I don't, but I want to. We just, we have to keep going. Just know that like that's not appropriate either. But this is sort of a good segue into the second related topic. So, one of my friends asked me to talk about something that she's seen happening. And I have like a little bit, not as much, but it's almost opposite to like the first thing that I talked about, how like some people are like not saying anything at all, like not touching the topic at all, right? So there are people who have started to talk about politics who never did before and have basically made it like their entire platform. And she was saying, and like we were kind of discussing, seem to be using it to leverage sales. So I have a few thoughts on this. Like, if that just at a basic level is what's happening, like that's disgusting. And obviously, don't do that. Like, that's not like, what are you doing? Um, that's also wildly inappropriate. And I mean, I hate it, but like with almost everything, people do this. I guess it's human nature, which is like, why do we do this? But I don't know. But I think that there are actually a couple things at play when we're like looking at just in like the bigger picture of more people talking about politics, what's going on in the world, all of the effects that all of this is happening. We are in an unprecedented time where it is not just like the normal Democrat versus Republican, like whatever. This is something different entirely. Like, this is like beyond that. This is so fucking messed up. And like, it's heavily affecting the world, is one of the first things. Also, maybe the second thing, because the first thing is really it's unprecedented. Second thing, it's heavily affecting the entire world. Like, this is not limited to just affecting the US. This is like having global effects. And third, there are things happening daily that are so fucking wild that it's hard to believe that it's actually happening and they aren't normal. Like, the shit that is happening is not normal. That's why, again, saying that like you can't be mad, no, like stop that. And the response from people, just due to all of that, it's going to be amped up. It's We're going to see more of a response. There's going to be more of this like collective, what in the fuck is going on? Because this is not like anything most of us have seen in our lifetimes, right? And I think that many people also feel that not saying anything also says a lot, except for the people I first talked about. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. But from, a lot of people that I've seen, they're like, they can't not say anything because it's so, it's so much and it's so crazy. So there's that side of it. And that's why I think we're seeing so many more people speak up about this now. And so many more people be like very vocal about it because I think too, when we look at like elections and stuff like that, you don't, and I hate to say this, but yes, you're affected on some level depending on what happens, but for the most part, it doesn't like have a huge effect on the majority of people's day to day, right? This fucking did. So that's why everyone's like totally like discombobulated, like out of sorts. Like, what the fuck is happening? Because I don't know what else you're supposed to do. And I mean, I never said anything necessarily like political, I guess, before, but I definitely shared my thoughts on like women's rights, somewhat on the family law system, things like that. A huge part of why I started my business has to do with all of that. As a woman, having the choice to do what I want in my life, helping other women to do the same. Like, there's so much. And I also feel really, really strongly about everyone having like basic human rights. Like, that's just a fucking thing that I feel like is a no-brainer that everyone should have and that's being very highly threatened right now. So I don't see it as something where like I see it as something that's not even almost not political, you know, to be talking about, but I'm also not using it as like I'm not talking about this today to be like, and this is why you need to work with me. Like, no, I am talking about this because I think that it's important to like talk about. Um, so I mean, if I was doing that, that would be different, I guess. That would be weird. But I haven't seen it too many times where people are actually like, just grasped on to like the political thing. And then it's a straight pipeline into like, buy something from me, or this is like why you need to be in my program, or whatever it is. That's really fucking weird. And like, don't do that. And that's like a complete opposite of the first topic, but they're related because it's like such a wildly different take on things. And I mean, like I said, I've only seen this like egregiously done like twice. And I was like, what the fuck? And I think it was at the end of the day, and I just had had enough of, shit online. So I swiped off really fast because I couldn't be bothered with it. Kind of unfortunate for this conversation now because I could have had more thoughts on it, but I have what I see more of is people definitely like leaning hard into their values and being really vocal about what their values are and what they believe is like not okay. That I don't think is a bad thing at all, as long as it's not misleading and it's not like, because of this, you need to work with me. Like, that's no. Even though I personally myself, I want to know that we are on the same page if I were to work with you. But just having that as like a straight pipeline to your program, like that's misleading and like weird. I also think, though, there are a lot of people who have been able to speak up and share a lot of resources on their platforms and, who have larger audiences. And that is amazing. That is what is needed right now because that means that the right things are reaching more people and the right resources, the right information is reaching more people, which is definitely what we need. Because going back to like some of the initial topic, no, shouting online, just doing that isn't going to be super helpful. saying people can't be mad, that's fucking gaslighting. Also not helpful, and you're actually being an asshole at that point. So no, we're not doing that either. But bringing awareness to things that are happening, sharing resources that are helpful, and ways that like people can make a difference in standing up against what's happening, like that needs to continue. It is the only way we can get it to stop and actually create change, like truly. And I'm super excited. I have a couple guests coming on in the coming weeks to talk to me about different things like related to this, and they will absolutely have resources to share. So I I cannot wait for that. It's going to be really, really good. And I'm also going to leave the link for my podcast application form. So if you think that you would be a good fit, or you have a topic that you would like to come on to share, like related to this sort of thing, and you have, resources to share that would help right now, you can fill out the form and I will get back to you. I would love that. So those are my thoughts for today. We're still, oh man, we're still in the dumbest timeline ever. And I don't know why. I really don't. I don't know why. I question that a lot. But there are things that we can do in order to help ourselves and create change. So let's focus on that. And that's what I got. I would love if you would give the podcast a 5-star rating and review. And I will leave you with, as always, go after everything that you fucking want and be unapologetic about it.